Hey guys, good afternoon, morning, evening. It's Donnie D.
Roger Lee.
And this is the Marching to More podcast. Welcome. Today we've got a very special guest and great friend of ours. She helps a lot of our buyers go through the process of figuring out what they can purchase and how to get into a home. So without further ado, I want to give a round of applause for Miss Christina Cicero of Atlantic Coast Mortgage. Christina, bless the people. Say hello.
Hello. Thank you. What an introduction. I like that button you pressed there.
I love it too. It's the class. Makes everything go all right. So before we get into it, I think it's very important. You have a very sultry voice. People are going to be asking, who is Christina? Where is she from?
Oh, okay.
This is Christina.
Yes, I do have a little bit of an accent, so it might come out when I start talking quickly and get excited. You might hear it. It is not a speech impediment. It is an accent. I grew up in England. I'm an American citizen, but I lived in England from when I was 5 till I was 19. Nice. Higher education in America. I actually was, I have a music degree. I was a music teacher in my former career. So,
are you going to sing for us?
Not today.
Okay. I tried, guys.
Not yet.
Yeah.
She won't sing yet.
We are going to start a band, though, with some other mutual friends.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I like that. So, you now are in mortgages.
I am, yes.
And how are you liking it?
I love it.
Yeah?
I love it, yes. I am decided I needed a new career after a career in music teaching. I love children and I love music, but had some friends in real estate, and I started interviewing friends like, I think this, what am I fit for? And I actually entered the mortgage industry as a processor, so on the operations side. And the more I got to know the industry, I was like, I think I want to be on production. I want to be client-facing. I'm a relational person, and I was doing my research. I listened to a podcast. It's called The Loan Officer Podcast. And they told their listeners, if you like big puzzles, if you love people, if you are teachable, and if you like to teach, you will excel as a loan officer. And I am all those things. And they said, you don't even have to be that good at math. And I was like, okay, well, I am good at math, so.
There we go. That's always a plus.
Yeah, so yeah, I love it. I love it, yeah.
Nice. So you're here for a long time, not just a good time.
Yes, I am here.
That's good to hear, because in the last 2 years, right, since COVID, people have been falling off throughout our industry. Yeah. So it's nice to know that we've got reputable individuals who can stick around and help us grow this industry.
Yeah, I heard a statistic. I like to throw them out. I don't know where
Go
it
ahead,
came
throw
from.
it out.
Okay. That 40% of our industry have exited or are exiting. Yeah. So
yeah.
Wow.
All the more for us. So, yeah.
And look at us. We still here.
We not just surviving, we thriving.
Exactly. Still marching to more. Let's keep going. Nice. So how do you help your clients? We know what mortgages are, but this is our first time home buyer segment. So we've got a lot of brand new novice listeners in here. What exactly do you do to help the clients?
Yeah. So before I went through my own loan process for buying a home, I had no idea, the back end of stuff and what goes into it. And it can be overwhelming. People that have bought multiple houses sort of know how it goes. But my joy, I like helping everyone, but my real joy is helping first-time home buyers and educating them on the process. There's a lot that goes into it, and getting prepared. So, I want to talk about that a little bit if time permits. But I really like to educate, help make it just more streamlined and easy, understandable for people. So, putting them in the right loan program.
Gotcha. So, tip number 1. Let's go ahead and start educating them. What's the first tip that our new home buyer should be doing?
Yeah, well, most people like to talk to the fun part is finding the house, right?
Yeah.
So most people talk to a real estate agent first, and may not be aware that until you have your finances and your numbers figured out, don't really know what price point you can look for. You may have your own budget. That's great if you know what you want to spend monthly, but depending on the market, you don't know what that equates to in home value. So the first thing I would think, get situated with a fantastic realtor. We have 2 of them here. All right. But talk to a loan officer. Get your financials straight so you know what price point to shop at.
So it's funny. I'm sorry. Yeah, I apologize. It's funny. The other day, I met a first-time home buyer, and she was so confused and lost. And I was like, I told her the whole home buying process, but I was like, you got to talk to your loan officer first, get pre-approved first. And she was still all over the place. I was like, I try to keep it simple. So what I realized is, in my experience, they got to get their mind in the right place, because they get so confused, because you have so many people that I meet, they come in with different directions. Hey, this person told me to do a duplex so I can invest in it and I can live for free. Some people told me to buy small, and all of a sudden I become a handyman from, I see it on HGTV.
Yeah.
I can build a house by myself, but I can't even like sew a button. You know what I mean? And so they get confused. That's what I mean by get your mind right to say. And then so obviously when first time home buyers see you, what do you do for them as far as like getting them comfortable to move forward? How do you do that?
Yeah, I like to share my own story and just let them know that it can be overwhelming, explain what I do, and explain what you guys do and how we work as a team for them, but they're two very separate parts of the team, what you guys do and what we do, but we have to be working cohesively together. So just so they understand people don't even know what a pre-approval is. So explaining that and
versus a pre-qualification, which is two different things.
Well, can you explain the difference between pre-qualification, pre-approval?
Sure, absolutely. So I don't think there's any standard book definition, but I would define it. A pre-qualification, if you call a loan officer and you tell them verbally on the phone, I make this much money a year, I have these many debts on my credit report, and I have this much money in savings, a loan officer can do a little quick math in their head and give you a number. I like to call that monopoly money. Until we pull your credit, look at your pay stubs, and verify everything, then it becomes a pre-approval. That verbal is really a pre-qualification. And there's a lot of things that can go wrong. You start shopping on a pre-qual, a lot of things. So. And
is that what they do that on the internet? They kind of give you a guesstimate or a monopoly money idea of what your monthly mortgage. So when you're on those other sites, other than our site, those are just random figures put together, correct?
Yes. Until someone sees your pay stubs, validates that income, pulls your credit, pulls out the interest rates for the day, it's really not worth anything.
It's not worth
but
anything.
Yes, a lot of the online, I'm not going to mention any names.
Rocket Mortgage.
I ain't say nothing.
Even some of the bigger banks around here that, may be doing that same thing.
Yeah. So to begin our process, guys, I want you to know, when you meet with Roger and myself, we love to have a quick conversation where we figure out what your goals are. But the next step after you have a conversation with us is we're going to send you to our preferred lender. Christina being one of my favorites, and she's going to let me know not only what your purchasing power is, because that's what we call it on this side, right? Purchasing power, because that's we want you to be a powerful person. She's also going to make sure that you have credit worthiness, right? So we can take you from step A to step B. Very often, she can get you into a home where normally the process takes 30 to 45 days. Atlantic Coast Mortgage is able to pre-underwrite and get things done in up to 20 days. And we've been able to do that together.
Yes.
That was phenomenal time.
Yeah, talking about that pre-qual versus pre-approval, we have a program called Pre-Approval Plus. So that's where the underwriter an underwriter doesn't usually touch your file till you're under contract, and then it goes through the next process. But we have an underwriter look at the file beforehand and just extra validate everything. So that plus is, I like to send people to you for that.
Plus.
So speaking about pluses, understanding purchasing power, we're going to go and navigate this. Now we know what our goal is. I want to buy a house, and they're still like, how? All right. And their how is related to what type of loan do I get? Can you talk to us a little bit about the different types of loans available to our clients?
Sure. Yeah, there's how many major? 4?
I think 4 or 5.
Yeah. So conventional loans, FHA loans, USDA, VA are main loan types. So VA, very specific, active duty and veterans or surviving spouse. Wonderful benefits there, obviously. FHA, wonderful. They're all wonderful loan programs, but it really depends on your individual financial situation, which one we put you in. So FHA, I would say, is for a little bit lower credit scores, and conventional, usually 680 and up. best for pricing. So we want to put you in the best loan program for you.
And who's using the USDA?
Did I say USDA?
Yes, you did.
USDA is also a fantastic program that is property specific. There are only certain areas, more rural areas, nothing right here, but you go out towards Suffolk and properties will be eligible. So that's
Pocosin, Smithfields.
The rural areas.
The rural areas,
yeah,
yes.
Yeah. Actually, it's funny. There's more USDA loans up in Northern Virginia, where I came from, than there are, in our surrounding area right here.
That's in the south of Dulles Airport, in there, south of Crystal City, near Warrenton, Virginia. That's where all those USDAs are.
Yeah.
It's open land out there.
Yeah, and out towards Winchester. Yeah.
And it's a phenomenal loan. It gets you 0% down.
0 down, a little bit better interest rates. Yeah. Yep.
So all of our friends out there who are, close but living in rural land areas, be sure to tap in to the USDA loan.
Yeah, I've had people come to me. Usually when it's Northern Virginia, the home prices are significantly higher up there.
Yeah.
And they'll be shopping, and I'll explain USDA, and they will change the area that they want to be in based on that loan program. So then they may decide to go out a little further.
I actually did that.
You did?
My house is in Beaverton, Virginia.
Yeah.
Just south of Warrenton.
Yeah.
And I got no money down.
Did you?
Nice.
Yeah.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah.
I didn't
That's
know
pretty
that.
great.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I got a credit of $1,800 because of something that happened. I don't know. It was a couple years ago.
Yeah.
2017, but I'm okay. I'm good.
And it's still cash flowing you to this day.
Yeah, still cash.
So you guys both have had experience up north in Northern Virginia.
Yep.
Christina, can you tell me a little bit about your experience in Northern Virginia versus, down here in our Hampton Roads area, and just what your thoughts are?
Yeah, sure. So I moved here it's like a year and a half ago. I was with Atlantic Coast Mortgage up in Northern Virginia. Love my company. We are a local lender. I'm still can service my clients up in Northern Virginia. We have branches up there. I'm up there every month, but building my network and people down here, but I'm still with my company. So, friends of mine, younger people are finding it hard to get into a home in Northern Virginia right now, especially our educators. They're just not paid enough, is my opinion, but it's difficult to get in a home up there. So, yeah.
Well, for the first-time home buyers, with all these loans, the biggest thing they have a problem with right now is having enough cash to put down on a down payment. Because you're going to tell them, hey, you're qualified for a conventional loan. You have X number of dollars you got to put down at the closing table.
Yep.
And then you got to pay closing costs. So when you add all this stuff up, first-time home buyers, they tend to shy away from moving forward at that point in time. So what would you tell to a first-time home buyer what they should do before thinking about purchasing a home?
Sure. Like specific to down payment or
Toward
everything?
to down payment toward either conventional FHA.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah. What would you tell them?
Yeah. So as a first-time home buyer, you can always go, depending what loan program you're in, you could have 0 down with USDA or VA. If you're in a conventional loan, depending on that credit, you can put, as a first-time home buyer, you can go as low as 3% down. FHA, first-time home buyer, the minimum down payment is always 3.5%. So look ahead. As you're looking ahead to buy, there's 3 main things you want to focus on. That credit, not just the credit score. There's a lot that goes into that credit report. So that's where I can help guide you and get you prepared. It's never too early to have a lender look at your stuff. There's stuff on there. I've had people say, oh, I have too many medical collections. I'm not ready to buy a house. Well, in the mortgage industry, people don't know this. We do not hold medical collections against you.
Really?
No, not at all. You can have $2 million of medical collections.
Don't run it up, but just be aware.
Yeah, I'm not telling you to not pay your debts. However, that will be the last thing you want to settle out, because it doesn't even help your credit score really to pay them off. So there'll be other stuff to look at. Also, if you're in an FHA loan, you cannot have a dispute on your credit report. People don't know that. And when you remove a dispute from credit report, your score sometimes goes down a little bit. So it's always good to look ahead, have a lender help you. Not only, I'm not a credit specialist, I have fantastic partners that do that, but I do have an idea of the credit report and what you can do to get your score higher. But there's so many other rules as they pertain to mortgages, so it's never too early to look at that. So that's one of the big things, credit. And then obviously the debt that shows up on the credit. You want to, for your purchasing power, you want to have less debt that's reporting on the credit report. So that's main thing.
Some people will say DTI.
Yes.
So if you hear people talking about DTI, they're talking about debt to income ratio.
Yes.
Right?
Yeah. So that debt is what is reporting on the credit report. We are not talking about cell phone bill. Cell phone does not report on your credit. You can self-report in order to build credit, but that's another topic. So just the stuff that shows on credit report, that's your debt. The income, next big thing to get prepared. We typically need a 2-year history of work history. So income is important, and we put those debts against the income. That's how we get your debt to income. And each loan program has a different percentage of debt to income ratio. So
when we talk about the 2 years of income, so I am a first-time home buyer, but I've been having a nail salon out of my house, or I've been doing a hair salon out of my house, so I'm self-employed. What does that look like?
Yeah, wonderful. So my team, we specialize in self-employed borrowers. We love helping them. Sometimes can be difficult. Main thing, number one, have your taxes in order. And we are not the IRS, we're not CPAs. Find a good tax accountant who can help you get those taxes in order. So we can only use the income that you are reporting to the IRS. We don't go off of your gross. So after all those deductions, that's what we can use. So sometimes it takes a little time getting prepared, getting those taxes filed correctly.
So what I'm receiving is, if you're getting paid under the table, you can't file that.
100%.
Right? So if you make $100,000 and $80,000 in cash, guess what? And you don't report it, guess what? You only make $20,000 a year.
Yeah.
How much you think of a loan you're going to get?
Yeah.
So for those bartenders, hair salons, you getting all those tips,
Yeah.
I get the cash looks good immediately, but go ahead and file your tax like you're supposed to. Be a good citizen. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah. And you also, and I just want to, to these individuals who are doing that, you want to take your max deductions, but if your max deductions make it look like you only make $11,000 a year, your purchasing power is going to reflect somebody who only makes $11,000 a year, regardless if you're making $50,000, $60,000, $80,000 a year. So as you guys are going out, Christina said it's never too early to have a conversation. Whether you're 24 months out, 18 months out, 12 months out, if you even have a question about it. Christina, do you have any problems with answering questions to people who don't work with you yet?
No, I love doing that. Absolutely, yeah. Here to
It's
educate.
phenomenal customer service.
You know what I'm saying?
Yes.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So I got a question.
Yes.
So now we talked about those down payments, right?
Mm-hmm.
There's got to be something in the 7 cities where you can get someone to pay for it for you. Like, any grants available for these people? Because everybody knows there's something out there. They just don't know what to do at that point in time.
Great question, Roger.
Grants, you know what I mean? So they know it's out there. They're like, can I get a grant?
Yes.
They don't know anything about it. They just say, hey, I heard that this and that. They hear it on the internet.
Yeah.
What I suggest, if you hear something on the internet, is contact March 14
Facts.
or Christina,
Yeah.
and we can go and answer the questions directly to your situation. Because
Can you answer that question for us, Christina?
Go ahead.
Yes to what you said. Contact us directly. We'll like to advertise. It's marketing, advertising. There are grants available though. So yes, one of my favorite things to talk about. So we went through those loan types. And then I want to talk a little bit about VHDA. So VHDA is Virginia Housing. They offer down payment assistance to, you have to be under a certain income level, and the property has to be under, I don't have it in front of me, I think for, contact me for numbers. I shall, if you want to know if you're eligible, contact me. But VHDA gives down payment assistance. So that takes care of this. So there's 2 big buckets of money when you're buying a home: the down payment that we're talking about, and then also
Closing
costs. Yes.
Exactly.
So right now the VHDA offers down payment assistance for the loan types we talked about, for FHA, for conventional. USDA gets a service from VHDA too, and so does the VA loan. Remember, they don't need down payment help because you don't need a down payment. So what they offer to USDA and VA loans is 2% for closing costs. So yes.
Which, just so anybody who's listening, we usually guide our clients that closing costs is going to be around 3 to 4% of the loan value. So if they are paying 2%, for example, a $300,000 home, they're going to give you $6,000 to help you purchase that house.
$6,000.
$6,000.
$6,000.
All right. Passing it back to Christina.
Yeah. So, VHDA is a fantastic program. My team is my team lead, my mentor. She is platinum level with them, so I've been trained and love helping people get into their programs. So that down payment assistance can come in 2 ways: the grant money, so it's literally free money given to you straight into the equity of your home in that down payment. And you can also, when you do the grant, you have to invest 1% yourself. So you have to have a little cash on hand there. But you get the other 2% if it's conventional to make up that 3% down payment, or 2.5% if you're an FHA to make up that 3.5% down payment. And then down payment, what were we just saying?
We were talking about the other grants.
Oh, yes. The other way you can get down payment assistance is the second lien. It's called the plus mortgage with VHDA. So if you don't want to put that much out of pocket, that 1%, you can get a tiny second baby loan and you're financing the down payment. So usually works out about $30 a month rolled into your mortgage payment. So, yeah.
So many options out there.
Yes.
Like, why is not everybody?
Well, that was just VHDA.
Yes.
So we also have, I know around the springtime, Atlantic Coast Mortgage, you guys had a product coming out as well.
Yes, we do.
And you're super excited about it.
I'm super excited. So applications start on February 21st. I'm getting my people lined up right now. So for this one, you have to be under contract and appraisal has to be back in order to even apply for this. So this is a fantastic grant. So in this market, it's changing things for people that wouldn't be able to get into a home. So for first-time home buyers, there is $12,500 given to you, and this can be used towards down payment, closing costs, and including that closing cost is interest rate reduction, which is changing eligibility.
Oh my
yes,
God.
yes.
I just had to shake.
$12,500.
Yes.
That's big money.
Yes. So I have 3 people lined up ready to go. They just need to find a house this weekend so I can get them in.
Let's get it.
So the only thing with this grant is you have to invest $1,000 yourself, and that can be through the home inspection, the EMD, the appraisal. $1,000 into the transaction.
If you're listening and you have yet to grab a pen, do so now. All right, giving major tips right now. She said for $1,000, they will give you $12,500.
Yeah.
I want that deal all day. I would take that before I go to the casino, and I'm gonna give you $1,000 check before you leave. Make more. I'm just joking.
I do want to say this is for lower to moderate income households, so there are income limits, and the income limits are a little less than the VHDA. So definitely talk to me, and I will, look at the income and see if it works. It tiers up for how many members of the household you have. So I have a lot of people ready to go for this. It's very exciting, and it can be layered with VHDA. So you can get your down payment assistance with VHDA, and then you can get this $12,500 to use for interest rate reduction and closing costs. So
my God.
Yes, it's fantastic.
So you mean tell me that single mom with 2 kids?
Yes. I have chills.
That's actually renting right now.
Yeah.
All that young lady has to do is give you a call, and there's an opportunity for them. All they need to do is get educated.
Yes.
The only thing we have to hold them accountable is to make sure they're responsible enough to make that call.
Yeah. And then after that, let's start marching to more. Let's go get it. All right. All right. I'm loving it. Christina, you're talking about all the good. Is there any more goods, any more grants out there you want to let the people know about?
Yes, so we have that $12,500 for first-time home buyers. Another part of that program is $15,000.
But wait, there's more.
$15,000 for community partners. So community partners are firefighters, law enforcement, healthcare workers, and this anyone. You can be a janitor working in a hospital if your employer is healthcare, then you are eligible for this, and you don't have to be a first-time home buyer to access that money.
So this could be your second home?
Yes.
Do you have to live in a certain geographical area in order to get this?
No.
You can live in any part of the 7 cities?
Yes.
$15,000.
Yes.
Okay. What if you're a real estate agent? Can you get this? I want to be a community partner.
Depending on income. So income eligibility is,
So a teacher.
Yes.
A custodial inside the school system.
Yes.
Administrator.
Yes.
Principal.
Yes.
Assistant principal.
Yep. I have a security guard right now in a school that's lined up to get this.
We sponsor a lot of Green Run athletics, and so since I'm such a fan of them, I hope that they are listening to what you're saying.
Could they be? Hear me out.
Yeah.
An athletic coach, and they work for another company, maybe at a call center, but they do this on the side. Is that possible?
That is a very good question. I just had one training. I need to ask that specific question. I think it is who your employer is, so we need to see who the employer is. Okay. And I'd check with the program guidelines. I'm not entirely sure. Let me look that up for you.
We need to talk.
Yes.
Because I'm the Can I just go ahead and announce it out loud?
All right,
to
go
the
ahead
Who are
and
you?
announce it, Rod.
So Roger Lee,
yeah,
I happen to become, I'm a graduate.
he got 7 jobs. He Jamaican.
I'm
I swear. I'm just joking.
I'm a graduate of Greenwood High School, and just this past week, I became the president of the PTSA. So we'll be doing a lot of great activities for all the students, everybody in the community, and as well as the parents. So,
Congrats.
I'm now affiliated. I just went into the school this week,
Mm-hmm.
and myself and the student activities coordinator, we talked about all the opportunities available for every single teacher. And then what we're doing this year is anybody from Greenwood High School that refers somebody to us,
That utilizes our services.
that utilize our services.
Yes.
There's we appreciate them, and with Teachers Appreciation Day, we have a couple of activities for them and everything like that. So we want to keep giving back to the teachers and make sure they're well taken care
Yeah.
of.
Always.
Yeah.
More giving, more community, and more prosperity for all. Nice. So I love that you shared all the good that people do and that you guys are doing to help out the community. In our industry, and I tell everybody all the time, we need therapists, right? Real estate agents, mortgage lenders, we need therapists. It's a stressful job. What's some of the most frustrating things you come across when you're dealing with, more specifically, our first time, not very educated home
Yeah,
buyers?
that's funny you said that. Yes, I actually kind of believe everyone should be in therapy always. I love therapy, big proponent. Sometimes I feel like I am a therapist or the
Yeah.
client. And I say that in jest. I am not licensed or educated to be a therapist. But some of the most frustrating things, I would say documents that come to me that I cannot read. Or people that don't submit documents and want numbers. I cannot give you, remember we talked about the monopoly money? I cannot give you your numbers, especially if you are an hourly employee in an FHA loan and you tell me you make $17.50 an hour. I can roughly give you an idea, but until I validate and see how you've been paid and we see the history of the payment, we have to do averaging and calculations. I cannot give you numbers. And if you're not submitting those documents to me in a timely fashion, the realtor's waiting, you're waiting. So I'd say that's the most frustrating thing. I want to make it as easy as I have a really easy, secure app portal for people to upload documents into. Some people, old school, prefer email. I'd say email old school, but even older school. Some people are still, want to photocopy the piece of paper or do everything in hand. That can be tedious too, but I like it when people are responsive with documents. I want to make it as easy as possible for them, but my hands are tied until I get the stuff I need from the client.
Gotcha.
So, yeah.
That's on them to hold themselves responsible.
Yeah.
Make sure they do what they're supposed to do,
Yeah.
because they really want it. They got to know they really want it. They'll get it done. If somebody wants to do
Yes.
something, they'll get it done if
Yeah.
they really want to.
Yeah.
Yes, we've had quite a few success stories. People who have had horrible credit, but they understand that we're the guides and you have to do the work.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? We will show you the way to the water, to the well, so you
Yes.
can do well.
Yes.
But it's incumbent upon you to drink,
Yes.
right? So
I say the same thing so I can make a little credit action plan for people. That is something free we can do as loan officers. We have the tools to do that. If you need extra credit assistance, I have fantastic referral for that. But I'll tell them, I'm your cheerleader. I will do everything but pay these bills for you. So I'm here to cheerlead you,
100%.
but I cannot do it for you.
nice. All right, so we understand some of the most frustrating parts of your job. So can you provide any success stories that you've had over the last couple months? I know you've been doing a lot of business in our area. What's some of the most wholesome moments you've had?
So that grant money that's becoming available in February, we had it last year too. So grant money is subject to run out after it's used up. So VHDA is always there, that down payment assistance we talked about. But this additional grant will run out once it's used up. So we had some funds last year and actually closed one in December, some amazing veterans. So that the $15,000 is available to, we talked about teachers, educators, law enforcement, firefighters, first responders, and did I talk about veteran active duty or military too, can tap into it. So they were he's a veteran, they're retired, they're on a fixed income, and they were able to come out of pocket with just $1,000 and get into a home. They were actually first-time home buyers too. So
It's all right.
yeah, they were the most old school people with documents ever. So I remember meeting them. You know, I will talk to anyone who calls me and is interested and wants to know. I will educate. These folks they had flip phones and didn't have an email address, and very adorable. I went to meet them in their apartment. Every time I drive by it now, I'm like, oh, they're in their own house now. But I remember going to meet them, and I was like, I don't know if this is one that's, you know, really if it's ever gonna turn into something, and it sure did. And they found their home. The agent got them closing cost assistance actually in the contract. But
Nice.
yeah. They were very happy, very grateful. That's another thing about working with first-time home buyers. Not that I need the gratitude from the client, but it's, you know, we are offering a service that is a necessity.
Yes.
What I'm selling, what you guys are selling is a necessity. I'm not selling you teddy bear. Like, this is like an important thing, and everyone needs housing. And when a first-time home buyer, especially those who don't believe they can achieve home ownership, when they get into a home, it is, I've shed many tears with clients, joyful tears. So there's been frustration tears too, but it's a wonderful feeling being able to help. Yeah, that's another big reason I'm in this industry. I love to help
The people.
Yes,
Taking care of people.
So let's help the people who are worried about inflation. All right. Interest rates last year, they went up from 3% to 7%. How are you guiding these individuals? What are you telling these people who are being made by these fear-mongering media?
Yeah, well, the news doesn't sell unless it's fearful. So I would say tune that out. And this is everyone's favorite question, right? The interest rates. So if you Google them, they are not your friend. We call those best execution interest rates. What you're seeing is not accurate. They're usually based on 800 credit score, 20% down. So they are not real. What you're seeing. Sorry, I just switched into something else. If you are listening to the news, it's not a good time to buy. Don't buy into that. Looking at interest rates online. If you are on an online lender, those are the best execution. You may see like a better rate than what is actually happening right now. Rates are still, you know, they're higher than they were. So I'd say average. It's hard to say, you know, it depends very much on your credit profile, on the LTV, the occupancy type, the loan program you're in, but they're somewhere between 5 and 7 right now is what they are.
Okay.
And honestly, interest rate I don't believe should be the focus. I believe the focus should be what is your budget and can you make this work right now? So, yeah, I would say don't buy into the fear. Also, don't listen to the clickbait interest rates that are online. Talk to a local lender to find out.
The bait and switch deal.
Yes, it is.
What do you say about marry the home?
Marry the home. Wait.
Date
date the rate and marry the home.
Exactly.
Yeah, let's talk a little bit about that.
Yeah.
So you get it. People like, I don't want to sign for 30 years because that 30-year fixed mortgage. People talk about you're signing for 30 years in this interest rate. Well, the average life of a loan, Donovan, do you know?
5 to 7 years.
Yes, the average life of a loan.
I know my stuff a little bit. It's like I'm an expert out
Yeah,
here.
if you sign that 30-year note, yes, you are in that fixed rate for 30 years. If you want to stay there for 30, your interest rate will never go up. However, most people either sell or refinance within 5 to 7 years. So when you have a good loan officer monitoring the market, I keep in touch with my past clients. I will tell you when it is a good time to refinance. So you can drop that rate and drop your monthly payment.
So when we close on the house, you're still a part of them.
Oh, yes.
Fantastic.
Yeah.
Beginning to the end.
Yes.
From that moment forward.
Exactly.
Now, the next question is, you spoke on fixed rates.
Yes.
There's this thing called an ARM. And the ARM, you know, not a lot of people know what the ARM. Could you explain what the ARM is? Because we speak to our clients in the way we have our, you know, acronyms and everything, right? But sometimes they just don't receive it. Could you tell us what an ARM is and how it's beneficial versus a fixed rate?
Sure. So ARM is adjustable rate mortgage. So that's what it stands for. And that's exactly what it is. We talked about the 30-year you signed when you're in the same rate for 30 years. Adjustable rate mortgage, it will do just that. It will adjust. So they usually come in with numbers. So we see 7-1 ARMs. That means the rate is fixed for the first 7 years, and then it will adjust every year there's a cap and a margin and calculations that goes into, how much it adjusts. It kind of goes so high and it kind of goes so low. But the 7 is fixed for 7 years. Then the 1 would be every year after that it would adjust. But if we remember, the average life of the loan only lasts 5 to 7 years. Most people will refinance in that first 7 years. All that to say is ARMs are making a comeback. If you do a quick Google search, they are at their peak for popularity right now. And that is because they have a lower introductory rate. So you can get in that little bit of a lower rate for those first 7 years. And then, they could be scary.
Okay.
But
Do you recommend them?
In this market today, yes. So
Okay.
the guidelines and the laws for consumer protection have changed around them. So back in the 2008 and that time, they were dangerous. Prepayment penalties, balloons. So we have no prepayment penalties anymore. You can refinance out whenever. So
Nice.
they are definitely safer for consumers, and with a lower introductory rate. Why not?
Yeah.
Well,
So it just depends on everybody's situation,
yes.
ultimately.
Yes.
So that's why we have to have that one-on-one.
We must sit down and have a
You gotta
strategic
have a one-on-one.
conversation.
'Cause,
Exactly.
Christina, you have the answers to all their questions. The problem is they don't know what to ask.
Mhm.
Yes.
So that's why I should contact us and let's just talk about it. That's why we're here today.
Exactly.
Yes.
So what I'm taking away from this, Christina, and correct me if I'm wrong, if you're a novice home buyer, ask Christina all the important questions. If you're concerned about the interest rates or the current market, don't fear, because realistically, most people only hold that note for 5 to 7 years. All right. The only reason you should be worried about the next 12 months is because you're looking to sell your house within the next 12 months. All right. And then finally, I want to know, where do you get all this knowledge? You're just like a little storage bank of knowledge, a vault of knowledge. Where do you get it all?
Oh, I'm obsessed.
Yeah.
I know. I literally go to bed reading guidelines.
Do you?
I eat, breathe, and sleep mortgages. I
Okay.
don't know why I love them so much. I have a fantastic mentor. I am on an amazing team. I'm very lucky. I don't know how loan officers just do it on their own.
They struggle.
They do. I love being on a team. I have a mentor. She is fantastic. And I love to learn. I'm a fan of lifelong learning. Guidelines are changing every day. But I literally go to bed reading guidelines and learning. I like to listen to podcasts. I just am always learning. So yeah, I'm obsessed with mortgages.
That's what makes people great.
Yeah.
They recognize that, there's always an opportunity to learn new things every single day.
Always.
That's awesome.
Every week we're reading a book. We're doing some type of course. Yes. So guys, Roger, you got any more questions for our amazing Atlantic Coast mortgage
I do.
lender?
I have a big question.
Oh,
You ready?
yes.
That we have not spoken about yet.
Mm.
Investors.
Ooh.
Yes.
Investors.
What about investors?
What about those first time, home buyers that sit there and say they want to invest? They just tell me they want to invest. I was like, okay.
Okay, so there's a lot of realtors and loan officers on social media right now.
Yeah.
I'm trying to do the social media thing too. I've seen a lot of people saying, you only need 3.5% down to get into a multi-unit. You can rent out the units, and it's only 3.5% down payment. That is true. You can get into a multi and rent out, and only pay 3.5 for down payment. Because typically for an investment property, you need to put at least 15% down. Better pricing if you put 25% down. So absolute minimum 15. But we have a client.
Yeah, I know.
Yes. Yeah.
They're ready.
Yeah, and they had the money to put, most people are prepared to put that bigger down payment for an investment property.
Right.
So I will tell you, if you're trying to do the FHA route with the 3.5% down for multi-unit, what you don't know and what the social media people aren't telling you, you need a lot of money, what we call in reserves. So that means money sitting in the bank. It can be from retirement accounts. It can be in your checking savings account. But, not everything you hear on the social media is the full story. We can't tell the full story all the time, but
Not in a 60-second reel.
No.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Not just doing this. You're not gonna get all the answers.
Yeah.
It looks good online. I guess my question was this.
Okay.
Investors have questions too.
Yes.
We need to send them to you.
Yes.
Fantastic.
Yes.
Hey, if you're an investor and you have questions, be sure to check out the next opportunity to listen to Miss Christina Cicero. This will not be the last time we have you on our podcast.
It's so
right?
fun hanging out with you guys.
Exactly. We love having great professionals come and visit and be guests so that they can teach you all their wealth of knowledge, all right? In the Marching More podcast, we're pouring into all of our listeners with this wealth of knowledge. So with that, I am Donavan D. McFadden
Roger Lee.
This has been another great episode of the Marching More podcast. We got to give a round of applause for Miss Christina Cicero of Atlantic Coast Mortgage. And we want to say thank you to all of our listeners for tuning in once again. Be sure to check out our next episode where we talk about, I guess we'll have to see you there to find out.
And just remember, we'll be with you from the beginning to the end.
And from that moment forward, have a blessed day.